Hey, hey, hey. Did you know the Anchor app was free? If you were thinking about recording a podcast, if it's something that you love talking about, your favorite hobby, download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. They distribute to Spotify, Apple, and many more. And you don't even have to do it. They do it all for you. You also can get paid from having a podcast. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. You can edit your podcast on your cell phone on the go. It's that easy. So download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Hey, 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 welcome to That Shit Was Poetic, where we touch on all things poetic, like music, poetry, art, movies, quotes, and famous poets. I'm your host, Nikki. So I'm back on another Friday. Hope you all had a good week. It's Friday. And guess what? The good thing about this Friday is, yes, you get to catch this vibe with me. Catch this vibe Fridays. That's what's up. Today we have Lady Bird on the line, and she'll be talking about her book, The Last Ballad. So I want to go ahead and introduce Lady Bird. And you said you go by the name of Lady Bird. Is that correct?
Yes, that's my actual legal name.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my mom.
Okay, that's a beautiful name.
Thank you. I get that like all the time. Not the beautiful part, but like, oh, I didn't know that was your real name, or is that really your name? Type of.
The cool part is you can use it as like your stage name.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, so go ahead and give me a little brief bio on who Lady Bird is.
Well, I'm just, a young woman coming into who I am and learning about myself more and more every day still, even at this age, at adulthood. I'm still learning myself and what makes me comfortable and what makes me uncomfortable. I've been moving around a lot, so I guess I have stability issues, but at the same time, I know that if I'm not happy somewhere, that I don't have to stay there. So I'm from New York. I
Okay,
live in New
really?
York. Yeah, I live in New York right
I moved
now.
there from I moved from New Jersey about 5 years ago to LA.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah.
Oh,
I'm familiar with New York.
yeah, the East Coast. So you
Yeah.
know how it is. But that's good that you moved to the West Side. Is
Yeah,
it
yeah.
any different than like I know it's different like in like certain senses like the weather and the people and stuff like that. But like, would you ever think about moving back to Jersey?
I definitely would not consider moving back to New Jersey. The main reason that I did move to California was for the weather. And, when I moved here, well, actually, before I moved here, like I had been saying that I wanted to move to California for some years. And, I guess I was just manifesting it, putting it in the universe, saying it over and over. I have a child.
Oh.
He was, how old was he? Like 9 or 10. And I kept saying, like, when my son turns 10, I'm going to be in California. And sure enough, by the age of 10, I was moving to California. So I guess I had put it out there into the atmosphere so many times.
Yeah,
But I love it here. I love it here. The people are definitely different. They are, I can say they're nicer than people back east, but they're still kind of rude. But I mainly moved out here for the weather and, more opportunity.
Yeah, I get that. I've been thinking about relocating myself. Like, you're from the East too, so you already know, like you said, some of the people is like not the best and give off like this negative energy, and it's like a lot of people, and so everybody has attitude because you can't get nowhere to do anything. But Yeah, I've been
Yeah.
thinking about relocating myself.
Where would you consider relocating to?
To be honest, I'm still like not sure,
Mm-hmm.
but I do know that I want to be closer to my mother because I'm getting older. She's getting older. She's gonna need somebody to take care of her. So I want to be closer to my mom. But I would relocate to like the south or maybe even Arizona.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Wow, nice, nice. That'll be a big change
yeah, that's
from New
okay.
York.
I'm ready for it. Like I told you, I moved around a lot, so I know that I'm not missing nothing by leaving New York.
Right. Moving around, like, have you moved around a lot, like different states
Oh
or?
yeah, different states. I haven't been anywhere overseas. I don't even have my passport, but I do want to get my passport because I am a traveler and I do want to see, other places, South
Yeah.
America, Central America, Africa, places like that.
Right, right. I would love to go to Africa. That would be nice.
Yeah.
So, how long have you been writing?
Um, I've been writing about probably like 8 years because I don't write every day. Like I'm not a person that every day I get up and I write something new. Like I write according to like how I feel and like if I feel like really strong about something or overwhelmed with emotion, whether happy, sad, angry, stuff like that, like I just write it down how I feel. And it's not that
Definitely.
yeah, so it's like it's not that I just write down how I feel. How I started writing was because I was at a place where I felt like nobody really understood me but myself, and I didn't really have anybody that I could feel like I could talk to. So, but even if you don't have somebody you could talk to, you still got to get it out. Like you don't want everything weighing heavy on your chest. So I just started writing down like how I feel or what I wanted to say to people and stuff like that, and that's just how I became a writer.
Wow. Yeah, I get it. I get it. I can relate, definitely.
Yeah.
Um, my writing style is more so I have to be going through something or a certain type of mood that I'm in. So I definitely
Yeah.
can relate.
It
So
makes it like more like authentic and genuine.
yeah, it definitely does. I think you can get the feel of a person and the way that they're writing. When it's coming from an authentic place. I think music is like that too.
Yeah, you could tell when it's forced too, and it's not real.
Exactly. Exactly. So what inspired your book?
Oh, that was just the last ballad. It's just a short collection of I guess emotions about how I felt about myself and how I felt about other people and just growing as a person and because I believe I'm a spiritual person, so I believe that I'm a spirit with a body, or some people say like a soul with a body. So I was writing some of the poem or poetry. I was at a time where I was learning myself and learning that I wasn't in competition with anybody, that I was always just wanted to be a better me, like learning what to do and what not to do, and
Right.
realizing that me being alone, I learned a lot, just by being alone. So that's where a lot of the poetry stemmed from, and even me being with like different people, whether it was a romantic relationship or a friendship, I would like learn from it. I'm always interested in learning.
Like what I got from the book was to me it I felt like heartbreak that in
Yeah,
some of it. And then it was like heartbreak, but also coming through something like a heartbreak. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, it's a lot of
Like
heartbreak.
releasing.
hmm Yeah, it was a lot of heartbreak in there, and not just from relationships, but from friendships as well.
Right.
And yeah, so just accepting it, and a lot of the time, after a heartbreak, I'm emotional, and that's what stems me to write something down. Like after everything I just experienced, I just release it, like you said, and get it out there, and just end it like that. Because for the most part, anytime I'm with a new partner and it's over, I almost always write something down just to like let it out and just get it out.
I'm the same way. I'm the same way. Like people, like we said earlier, you know what I'm saying? Interactions, going through something can always bring your art out. Do you consider do you have like a certain style of writing that you would consider you
Well, I
have?
I know I have a style. Like I know I have a certain style. Like when I even reread some of my old work, it's like a flow that I try to get away from because I don't want like to be too predictable. But it's like I can't really put a name on the style of writing that I have, but I know it's like a flow. Like it's like a continuous flow that I write, and it's just natural. I don't really know what to call it.
Yeah, yeah. Some people, they have a certain style of writing that they can call it.
What would you
I
call
guess,
it?
I guess you would say, you just write from your heart, you know.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely write from my heart and pour from my experiences and pour from like whatever emotion that I'm feeling at the moment. If it's like overwhelming me, like I have to get it out, then I write it. If I can't call my best friend, if I can't call somebody close I could talk to or whatever, I just write it down and get it out, and then it just flows, and I just keep going and going and going until it's all out.
Right. So you said your book was basically like a collection of poems of things that you went through, emotions, and, just not being in competition with anyone.
Yeah, like yeah, just things that I went through, like you said, and heartbreak, and realizing that the end is not always a bad thing, and it's good to have certain experiences, and um, yeah, just being okay with like things ending. Like one of my poems is like, you shed what's dead, and there's nothing wrong with shedding what's dead, because at the end of the day, why would you want something that's dead?
You have a page or a piece that really meant a lot to you?
Um, yeah, one of my poems, like in the book, it's not titled, but they do have titles. One of the poems like one of my top three favorite poems in the book is about it starts off by going, I'm learning to be kind to myself, it's me against myself, nobody else. And then at the end, it's like I said something like my heart is cold and lonely, but I said something like, oh, my core is so soft, only a few people can tell you that, because it's only that's one of my favorite poems, because it's like people see me, I could be like hard on the outside and stuff, and people might a lot of times people tell me after they get to know me that, oh, I thought you would be mean I thought you would be mean when I first saw you, something like that, because my face is like, I guess I have like this serious face or whatever. But after people don't let that get to them, or say like, oh, I thought you would be mean, they get to know me and they see that I'm not like a mean person or whatever, and they see that I'm actually like soft. And but that's only a few people that get close to me that can tell you that. Everybody else would probably just be too scared to even talk to me, because they might think, oh, I look like a mean person, and that's
New
scary
Yorkers are
because
like that though. They have that
yeah,
tough exterior.
yeah, that's true. So that has a lot to do with it too. Yeah, that's so true. Like they just walk around with like a mean mug or whatever.
Yeah. No, by writing this book, The Last Ballad, what do you hope to accomplish with this?
I just want to be relatable to people, like people who feel like they have these feelings and they don't know how to express them, or they don't know, you know, they can't put words to how they feel. Like I want to be like that voice who not really understanding themselves and feel like nobody understands them, or they don't really understand themselves, like what they're going through, and they might think they need somebody, and sometimes we do need somebody to talk to and stuff like that, or we just need
Definitely.
somebody to listen. So I just want people who feel like, I guess, like I was at like emotional when I wrote, and not like a lot emotional, like emotional, but in a way of like just feeling a lot of emotion, not just being sad and stuff like that, like negative emotions. I was feeling positive emotions too. So anybody who feels like they have nobody to talk to or nobody to listen to them, I just want them to know that, it's not all bad. It's not they say, like, duality or whatever is a good and it's a bad. So don't focus on the bad because it's also good in it too. And if you focus on the good, good things will happen. So I just want people who are down to feel, to find happiness and peace and stuff. Yeah, basically.
Honestly, I think it could be like a self-help book.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. I think it could be a self-help book. Like, like you said, people who are going through things and, they don't have anyone to turn to. A lot of people go to art, when they're going through something. So your book definitely could be something that could pull somebody out of what they're going through.
Yeah. Thank you. That's like what I was looking for. I just want, people to not, I don't know, just to understand what they're feeling and to know that they could get through it.
Absolutely. Is this a published book or is
Yes, it's self-published on Amazon. I'm an indie writer,
okay?
and yeah, I don't have like an agent or anything. I don't really want to deal with, a whole bunch of different people. That's why I'm just trying to get it out there myself. And I don't even expect a big crowd or a big audience or whatever. As long as, it does fall into the right hands, I'll be happy with that.
Right. You always have to speak positive over everything that you do. So
I
you'll
agree.
you'll be great. You know what I'm saying? Do
Oh,
you
thank
have any
you.
other published books, or is this your first published book?
I have another published book that I had published before that, but it's not out anywhere. Like, I published it and then I took it down or whatever. I have a copy. Um, it's just this book, The Last Ballad, was like I evolved so much from the first book that I wrote that I was just like, I'm taking this down because this one is so much better. But other than the first book I wrote is called Soul and Control. Other than that book, no, I don't have anything else that's published than The Last Ballad.
And where can people find your work? How can they find The Last Ballad?
It's available on Amazon. You could just type in The Last Ballad by Ladybird and it should pop up, or you might have to search a little harder for it. It's my website. It's called lovelyladiesclubhouse.com for like $15. And I also it's a link to it on another website that I have the same poems on. It's called wavybyrd.com. WAVYBYRD.com, and people could click on a link there and it'll take them right to where I'm selling the book myself.
And you have your social media, of course. You're on Instagram.
Yeah, I'm on Instagram. My Instagram name is Wavybyrd, WAVYBYRD. As you know, it's like a play on word because my name is Ladybird, but
Yeah.
yeah, so my Instagram is just Wavybird. That's it. I'm not on Twitter. I'm not on Facebook. I am on Twitter, but I'm not on Twitter. Like, I have a Twitter, but I'm not active on Twitter. And my Twitter is the same thing as my Instagram account is Wavy Bird. And yeah, that's really, I don't have a Facebook or anything like that.
What part of New York did you say you were from, or did you say?
I didn't say. I live in the Bronx. I don't know. Do I have an accent?
You do have an accent. You do.
Yeah, I live in the Bronx right now. I was born in Manhattan, but my father lives in the Bronx, so I don't live with my dad or anything like that. But yeah, so since my father lives in the Bronx, I used to live with him. And when I moved out on my own, I just moved in the Bronx. I didn't move to like Brooklyn, or Brooklyn's expensive these days. And
Yeah, I have a
Manhattan.
couple friends that live in Brooklyn, so yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's so crazy. So no, I live in the Bronx at the moment. I feel like I even stayed in the Bronx for that accent. And yeah, that's me, I guess.
So what's like your hobbies when you're out there? Like, what do you like to do?
I don't even really do anything. Like, I hang out with like certain people here and stuff like that. And in New York, it's like the same thing you could do anyway. You know, you go out, you get something to eat, hang out with your friends. You know, a lot of people, my friend from like other places, be like, "Oh, do you sit on the stoop? You sit on the stoop." People chill outside, sit on the stoop, sit in front of their building. You know, it's not really, other than that, it's not a whole lot going on. You know, unless you want to do something for yourself. I've read my poem. I did like a poetry slam once. You know, to get my poetry out there, but
Right.
like
And how'd
hobbies
that go?
is I was so, I was so nervous. I ran off the stage so quick. Like I read one poem, and you know I had good feedback and stuff like that, but I was just nervous. So after I read the poem, I just left stage. I just ran off the stage and returned back to the audience and was listening to everybody else go, who seemed a little more seasoned than me and have
Mm-hmm.
more experience. Because even though I've been writing for a long time, it's been like for me. Like I haven't been putting it out there, sharing it with anybody. So my first experience is sharing it with other people. I guess it was just making me a little uncomfortable, but I know it's just something that I probably just got to get used to.
Have you
That's
ever
all.
thought about doing like, especially now since it's COVID, I see they are having a lot of virtual poetry slams.
Mm, no, I haven't really thought about doing virtual poetry or anything like that. I don't think I'm ready for that. I'm like I like to do like real authentic stuff. Like I want to be there in person, you know, to like
Yeah.
vibe and get like a feel of like the audience and the people around me and their reactions and stuff like that. So
Yeah. Yeah. I actually attended a virtual poetry slam, and the people, they just got on there and they spit what they had to spit. But I can definitely understand what you're saying, like when you want to see the reaction,
yeah.
the
So
audience and
how was
everything like
that
that. So it's a lot
experience?
different.
Okay.
What would
Mm.
you say if someone was visiting the Bronx? Like, where would they have to go?
I would tell them not to visit the Bronx because the
Like,
Bronx
you
is
have a
really.
favorite food spot that you love in the Bronx?
I mean, Little Italy, Arthur Avenue. I like they have like it's called Little Italy, but like the restaurant I go to, there's a Mexican. It's a Mexican restaurant. I won't be able to pronounce it right, but it's called like Estrelita Pobama. They have a few chain restaurants in the Bronx. Their food is really good. Probably the Bronx have like a lot of Spanish restaurants, so there's a few Spanish restaurants that are good. Like um, what is it called? Like Carida and stuff like that. They have good chicken. I mean, I don't even eat chicken anymore, but when I was eating chicken. Yeah. There's another Mexican restaurant, not in the Bronx, but it's downtown. It's called like Ja Ja Ja. It's vegan, and their food is good too. Other than that, people in the Bronx, they just, hang out in their neighborhood. That's really it. Or whatever, eat in their neighborhood, stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah. I know some people, they're like, "Oh, I'm from here, and if you come to here, you need to go stop at this place." You know what I'm saying? Like Philly, they cheesesteaks and all
Yeah.
that, which is crazy because I've been to Philly a few times and I've never had a cheesesteak. I know, I'm crazy.
Wow.
Never.
Wow.
And I was just
Mm.
in Philly recently, like maybe last month, and I still didn't get a chance to get a cheesesteak. So I'm like, I know when I come home, I want pizza. Like, I know I love New York pizza.
Yeah, New York got some good pizza. The pizza is good. The restaurants are good. Most of them are like the really good restaurants. Of course, they're like really expensive, like Ruth Chris and stuff like that.
Yeah, they have good steak. They really do.
Yeah,
I can
New
say
York
the
is really
difference.
known for the food.
I can say the difference with California and back east is the food. Like
Yeah.
the
So you
food.
like the food over there?
I no, I like the food back east.
Oh, okay.
I don't really care for the food in California. Like, if you want to be on your healthy vibe, like,
Definitely.
then
Yeah.
yeah. But if you want some good soul food, like,
I know people probably are gonna kill me, but I don't really enjoy any of the food out here. Like, especially people who are from here. So, they're like, no, this is good or this is good. And then you try it and you're like, you obviously have not tasted good because this is not it. But I can
Yeah, I had a
say
few
the
things
biggest
about.
difference is the food.
I think like with New York, since there's so many different like ethnicities and nationality people
Yeah.
here, so there's different like options of what to eat. You know, you could try a whole lot of different food in New York, and I know a lot of people who come to New York. Like even my friend, she talks about coming to New York, and she talks about all the restaurants that she wants to go to and try and stuff like that. So I know it probably has a lot to do with like all the different kind of people that live here. So it's a lot of different
Yeah.
flavor.
It's a lot of Mexicans here. So they have a lot of Mexican restaurants. They have a lot of taco uh restaurants and taco stands, and but I can say like we have not tried tacos until you try like the Mexican tacos here. Like it's a total difference. Like we've
Yeah,
Americanized tacos.
I believe
So
you.
when you try a real taco off the street, you will definitely taste the difference.
Mm.
So they got that down packed. Is there anything, like switching gears, is there anything, that you do to help you cope with what's going on, like the pandemic and everything that you would like to share with the listeners?
To be honest, the pandemic, I've been apart from like all the negative that's been happening, like all like the protesting and everything that's been going on during the pandemic. I've been happy about, and all the people dying from COVID and stuff. Of course, that's not good, but the COVID has helped me, in a sense that it took me away from work. Like I was so stressed out going to work every day, all that other stuff, and once everything got shut down, it was like a stress reliever. I didn't have to worry about going to work. So in terms of like coping, I've been doing okay with the everything that's been going on during COVID and stuff like that.
So have you gone back to work or are you still currently out of work?
I'm still out of work due to COVID and stuff. I haven't gone back, and I just look at it as a blessing because I have had the opportunity to go back, but I realized not I don't want to go back. I want to go forward, and this is like just been a good time for me to do what I want to do, and pursue other interests instead of like doing what like I have to do for the time being. Like I'm
Yeah.
taking advantage of like the time that I've been given.
Do you meditate or do yoga, anything like that?
I haven't meditated recently, but I used to meditate like probably like a few months ago, or even like maybe 2019. I was meditating. I used to meditate. I meditated like one time and it worked for me, and I saw like a difference in my energy and stuff. But after that, it's just been nothing. I don't see a change in like with meditating or whatever. But not saying meditating is a bad thing. It works for some type of people. I've done yoga this year. Yoga isn't bad. I do yoga. I want to do more yoga, but because my body is tense, and I'm not gonna lie, I do want to be flexible, like how they be flexible doing yoga and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, that's something I'll do like in the future when I have, I guess, like more time or money or whatever to do that, or maybe just do YouTube yoga videos or something.
I know some people are, dabbling in yoga and meditation. There's a lot of people that are doing different things, just to help them cope and just get through, because I know a lot of people it can be stressful, especially if you've lost someone or
Oh
that's
yeah,
experiencing some hard times right now. That's why I always ask like anyone that comes on to the podcast, like, is there anything special that you're doing, to help someone who's listening, to cope? Because it's troubling times, I know for
yeah,
some, for me, I know people who were dealing with, the whole thing and got sick and Thankfully,
Wow.
they were able to make it out,
Yeah,
but I
that's
do
good.
know a few people that did not, that also passed away. But for me
Oh
personally,
man.
like, I use this time to create. So I can relate with you as far as, just being at home and using your creative mind and trying to better yourself and work on your art. So I definitely can relate with that. I feel like I accomplished a lot during this time.
Yeah, I mean, time is like a luxury, so it's always good that you be mindful what you do with your time. I've had a friend, I actually know a few people who tested positive for COVID, and they just, isolated themselves and stuff, because that's what they tell you to do, stay away from people and stuff, like, when you get COVID. In terms of coping, I just, I would just check on them every single day. Like since that person told me they tested positive, I was checking on her like literally every single day. She probably was ignored by me, checking on her so much. Even after the fact that she tested negative, I was still making sure like she was okay and stuff like that. And
Yeah, that's a
it,
good thing.
yeah, so some people that did catch COVID though, they was like that I knew that they got from other people is, they ain't really been staying away from people. And COVID, it's like they said that's just like another form of the flu, right? So
Yes. Yes.
yeah, so it's just like another strain of the flu. So it's like, the flu could be contagious, and if it's something that's really affecting people like that, then you should just wait till it passes, or maybe wait till the season change. Hopefully it'll get better or whatever. Because I know people who tested positive from COVID that, their family have been nurturing them, and they didn't. It's like they didn't catch it, so it's like it's not that contagious. It's like, I guess it's just like the flu. Like some people get the flu, some people don't get the flu, and it's also like they said it has to do with, yeah, health. Also, like if you already have bad health, so if you already have bad health, then you're vulnerable to suffer even more from it and stuff like that. I know people that was in the hospital for like 2 months, and then reinfected with it because of COVID. And I know somebody who ended up getting pneumonia because of COVID, but thankfully they didn't pass away and stuff
Yeah,
like
because it,
that.
it hits your body. Like, each person get it and they experience, different symptoms. So
Right.
it's like they tell you that if you have bad health, you know what I'm saying, you're going to get hit hard with it. But it really just depends on the person and their body.
Yeah. So like, if you're sensitive, or you don't have like a strong immune system, then you should like isolate from certain people, because they said even some people could be asymptomatic, and even if you're asymptomatic you can't pass it. But it's still like, all right, then if you test positive, then you just don't have any symptoms, and you could probably, because they don't even really know what's going on with COVID. But
I know
it's
a
like,
lot of people are like, they're not being considerate of, how it can affect other people.
right.
If you not that serious about it. At the end of the day, I think, you can believe what you want to believe. There's conspiracy, theories,
Mhm.
but it's still here,
Right.
and you still have to take precautions,
Of course.
so don't be selfish and, not wearing your mask. That's the most important thing right now, is protecting yourself and protecting others. And you
Yeah.
can believe what you want to believe, but at the end of the
Mhm.
day, you can't be selfish with, this thing going on, because it's
Yeah.
very serious.
Yeah, and it just hit. Like when it hit like really hard. Like all of a sudden, all these people were testing positive. So it's like, it's like you said, it's still something that we're dealing with now. And as we're dealing with it, people, like you said, should take precaution, because you want to make sure that you don't get it, and you want to make sure that somebody you care about don't get it as well. Mm.
Is there a part of your book that you would like to read today?
Um, I'll probably read the poem that. Let me get the book. I'll probably read the one that I referred to earlier when I was like, "Oh, your only shot was bad." Let me just find it
Yeah,
real quick.
yeah. I'm excited to hear that you'll, the other piece that you said you had, your other book, do you think in the near future, like, it may be something that you will put out again?
I probably would like re-edit it a little bit and then and then re-release it. If anything.
Because sometimes, you know, like for me, it's things that I've written and I'm like, oh no, I don't like this. But then later on, years go by or something, you go back and read it and you're like, oh, this resonates now, you know?
Yeah. I like the first time I wrote like my first book, I was writing, and I just finished the book and I didn't even read like what I wrote. I was just writing based off emotion. And then once I finished it, I went back and I wrote it and I was like, wow, this is pretty good. And I published it and I was proud of it and I'm still proud of it. And like I got like more in tune with myself and I evolved and I wrote something even better. So I'm like, I like this one better. But I'm pretty sure it will be a time where I feel comfortable to release my first book because it's not bad or anything like that.
How old are you? Can I ask you that?
I'm 26 years.
Okay. So yeah, evolving, man, like I listening to the things, you know, that I wrote when I was like my early 20s. And then now, because I'm 37 right now, and looking back, I'm like, what was I thinking?
Yeah, so you get it. Like that's how I feel. Like I don't think it was like anything bad I wrote, but I was like at a very vulnerable place when I wrote it or
Absolutely.
whatever. Yeah, so I'll probably edit it and in like a different time when I feel I guess ready to release it. Okay, I found the poem. I'm gonna go ahead and read it.
Okay, so we're reading from the last ballad by Lady Bird.
Yeah, I call this poem Goodbye. It is not a pleasant feeling to lose a friend. But then again, who was really the friend? Was it all in my imagination? Was it all just pretend? Reality hurts sometimes. It's okay to mourn. Just remember, you cannot lose what's already gone. You cannot lose what never belonged. You lost nothing at all. You only shed what's dead. That's
That shit was poetic. Thank you for that.
Thank
So,
you.
so with that, like, explain what you were experiencing with that poem.
Yeah, like I was going through something with one of my friends and I wasn't like I'm not the type of person that like if we fall out I'm gonna chase you. Yeah, like I didn't really look at it as a loss. Like I like at the moment, I was a little sad. We all get sad like when, relationships end. So I guess like I came to realization that, I didn't even really lose a friend because I was the one who was the friend. Like I was always there for that person, always picking up every phone call, always, being there as a friend and vice versa, that person wasn't a friend to me. I was a friend to somebody who wasn't a friend. So I realized that I didn't lose a friend, that I only just I guess shed dead skin or dead weight. Like
Absolutely.
yeah, basically. So that's where that poem stems from.
Wow, that was a deep poem. That shit was poetic. I like that. The older we get, we realize, like, you know, we have to start valuing ourselves and the people that are in our lives.
Yeah.
And, you know, if it's not serving you, if it's, you know, not heading in the right direction, then sometimes, like you said, you have to just drop that dead weight.
Yeah, you just gotta let it go. Like even if it's taking a lot of energy from you, it's like at first you don't even notice and it's nothing. You think it's like you see signs early, but we ignore those signs and then eventually we pay for the signs that we ignore. So
That's why I say, you know, this book can definitely be a self-help book because you can not only use, you know, that poem Goodbye for a relationship, a friendship. You can use it just like in life in general. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So many different ways. So I like that. Thank you
Thank
for that.
you.
Thank you for blessing us with that poem. Okay, here. It says, my love, my love, my love, my love. My heart is calling
Yeah.
you. You know exactly what to do. You know exactly what to say. Every day is something new. You are closer. I can feel it. Your soul is focused on my spirit. I like that piece. My soulmate. You have no idea of my soul shape. You have no idea of my soul's face. You only know my soul's grace. When our atoms made love in our outer space. Yes, we come a long way. This is why I can no longer wait. I'm coming home so we can be alone. Feels a vibration. My sweet love, pick up the phone. Something about that poem, like, and you talking about your soul, that really stood out to me.
Thank you. That's one of my favorite poems too. It's like one of my top 3 favorite poems. And I was single when I wrote that, but I was just feeling good and just feeling hopeful and optimistic, about my partner, just knowing, that there's somebody out there who like doesn't know me, doesn't know who I am, but like when we do meet, it's gonna be like a vibe, because it's like we just vibe. It's like we knew each other forever already. That's
Yeah,
one
I've
of my favorite
definitely
poems.
experienced. I can relate to that. Maybe that's why it stood out. I feel like you write from your soul, like you say, you come from an authentic place, and it's really refreshing, because a lot of people, they don't, they do things mainly for the attention or what's trending. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, I can definitely see.
I couldn't do that even if I tried. Like that doesn't even work for me. Like I can't like anybody could tell you like I have no poker face. I have no poker face. I like being fake is just like you know that I'm being fake. Like that it's not real. It's not authentic. Like anybody will be able to call me out. So I just it's not even like something that I want to do or whatever. It's just I think it's just my nature. Like even when I was younger, if I felt a certain type of way or whatever, I would just start writing like a whole bunch of stuff down that, just letting it out, just releasing it.
Were you writing as a kid?
As a kid, I wrote a little bit. Like as a kid, I had a diary, but really writing like from emotion and like understanding like where it's coming from and who I want to hear it and like what I would say to people, like like an old friend or like a lover and stuff like that. Like that's something that came with time.
But
Yeah.
there's another poem that I like, and this one I feel like this could be in the self-help. When you were saying I'm learning to be kind to myself, I was falling apart. My heart is like the weather of December. Like I'm just pulling out different pieces of it,
Yeah,
that stood out.
that's like my favorite one. Yeah, it's like I'm learning to be kind to myself. I don't know, like when I wrote it, because you know what it is? I had wrote a poem before that in my first book that I had wrote, and the poem was called like Falling Apart, and it was about how I was falling apart, but as I guess my tone is like I take the negative and I make it a positive. So like I was writing about how I was falling apart, but it wasn't like a bad thing of me falling apart, like because I was saying something like, "Oh, I'm falling apart, but it's okay because somebody came and put all the pieces in the wrong spot, but now I get to put every piece where it belongs." So I'm learning myself in a whole new light, and I'm falling apart, but it's okay. So and then that poem, the poem that you just mentioned is kind of like an ode to my falling apart
Mm-hmm.
poem. So that's why I was like, I was falling apart, remember, but I picked myself up, but I put myself back together. So like that one, I guess, really resonates with me because it has to do with like when I was first falling apart, like the poem that I wrote in my
Right.
first book. Yeah, so it was like a response to that poem, and just evolution basically.
Yeah. So it'd be good, like once you release your other book, and then to go back to this one, people can see like the transition.
Yeah.
But I definitely appreciate you blessing us on That Shit Was Poetic. And I definitely love, the poems that we talked about. Like I said, my favorite one is the one we last talked about. So
Right.
I
Well, the
definitely.
pleasure is all mine. Thank you again for like considering me, even taking the time out of whatever you had going on, because I know we all are busy people and we all got stuff going on. So for you to take the time out to just read a few of my poems, I'm grateful for that.
And the reason I created this podcast, you know what I'm saying, is for artists, you know, for us to come together, and whether it be a new artist or an established artist, you know, we all have great bodies of work, and sometimes we are not able to get that out there. So that's one of the reasons why, you know, I'm doing this podcast. So thank you so much for blessing me.
Thank you.
And I wish you so much, you know, luck on your book, and, you know, like you said, falling into the right hands. I wish you all of that.
Thank you. It was, it was a joy speaking to you.
So go ahead and tell the listeners, like, again, where we can find you and find The Last Ballad.
You could follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is WavyByrd, WavyByrd. You could purchase a copy of my poetry book. I have a link in my bio on my Instagram page. But if you don't have Instagram, you could just go to lovelyladiesclubhouse.com. I mean, LOVELYLADIES Clubhouse CLUBHOUSE.com.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Lady Bird. It was good to talk to you.
Okay, bye.
Have a good one. Bye-bye.
That Shit Was Poetic has merch, guys. If you're excited like I'm excited, if you enjoyed this podcast, then please support our merch. I have masks for you to stay safe. I have t-shirts. I even have coffee mugs for you to enjoy your favorite drink while you listen to That Shit Was Poetic. And guess what? If you need a bottle of wine, you can support charity by buying a bottle of wine through One Hope. So head over to my bio, and the link is in the description. Thanks for listening. So thanks for tuning in to That Shit Was Poetic. I'm your host, Nikki, and tune in every Friday for new episodes. To check out our old episodes, follow That Shit Was Poetic on all streaming services, Spotify or Google Play, or follow us on the Anchor app to leave a comment. To be featured in our podcast, email or DM us on thatshitwaspoetic@gmail.com, or follow us on Instagram. Thanks for tuning in.